Welcome to a brand new episode of the Post Game. I am your host, Davion, and I'm joined by Emmett
What's going on, everyone?
and Lillian.
What's up?
And today we are back talking about some NBA. Right now, currently, as we're recording this, the first game of the in-season tournament is going on against I think it's the Bucks and the Pacers. And so, yeah, right now it's the first quarter, 4 minutes left. The Bucks are up 23-20. But so when we look at the in-season tournament, we look at how have you guys just felt about the in-season tournament? Like, how do you think it's been?
I mean, personally, I've loved it. All of the games, is specifically once the knockout round started, really had a playoff intensity,
For sure.
and you could hear it in the crowd. You could see it with how hard the players are playing, and I think that this is something that will stay for a long time, and it's very successful so far.
Yeah, I agree. I think there was a lot of kind of impulsive thoughts when they came out with it. They were like, "Oh, Adam Silver's just trying to do anything possible to get the ratings up, and it's just regular season. The players aren't going to try." But then once kind of the details came to light about it, and
And
kind of
$500,000.
yeah, seriously, for players that are making like 5 plus, 10 plus million, sure, maybe it's not anything to them, but to the players, to the five players on each team that's making 1.5 million and less, that's like that's like a whole bunch of stuff for their moms, for families, so there's and you know how teammates are, the value in that, and so their teammates are gonna take that to heart, and I think that it's like Lillian said, it's been a playoff esque environment, and I think people are really excited about it and are really committed and everything, and you can just tell on each bench they're completely invested, and so I've really liked it. I think the courts are but
Yeah. Yeah, I saw Adam Silver come out today and was like, next year though, because the courts were such a I think it was like a last minute thing of changing the design or whatever. He said that next year hopefully they look to make it look a lot better than it did this season. But man, it was such a great time. I've enjoyed the intensity of of every in season tournament game, and it makes it the realistically no one watches basketball, or no one really thinks it's very competitive and all that in these months of December, November, October. But now, I mean, watching some of these games, I'm like, I love it. I'm all for it. And I was watching a Lakers and the Suns game the other night, and when do you really care about a Lakers and Suns game on a Thursday night or whatever night it was? Yes, these are two top teams in the West, but granted, in the past seasons, one of them would have sat out, or somebody would have sat, and it wouldn't have been really mattered. But now it's completely changed. It's definitely very, very different, and I've definitely enjoyed the NCAA tournament a lot. So, I mean, so when you look at it, who? Let's look at this matchup right now. You got the Pacers and the Bucks. You got Giannis Antetokounmpo. Halliburton has been arguably one of the best players in the NBA this season. What do you guys Who do you expect to win this game? And yeah, we'll start there.
I mean, just looking at it right now, it's obviously still the first quarter, but I do think the Pacers will win this game, especially if they can keep it within 10 points at halftime. Watching the Pacers play in the third quarter, for me, it reminds me of those 2015, 2016 Warriors teams where they
Yeah.
just come out firing on all ends. And it's insane. They went on it was like a 12-0 run immediately against the Celtics in that first knockout game. And Tyrese Halliburton, I think, is statistically one of the best third quarter performers in the league right now. So I think that as long as they can keep it close, that third quarter will just light a fire under them.
mhm. I think it'll be close. Is it in Indiana or
It's in
Milwaukee?
Vegas.
It's in Vegas.
Oh
It's a
yeah,
neutral site.
that's right. Um, I don't know. It's tough. I think it'll be close. I think Milwaukee wins it. Um, that's just my, my thoughts. Just seeing both teams that the Pacers are like the worst uh, defensive team in the league right now, but like the best offensive
I mean,
team.
they're dropping like 120 points a
So
game.
I mean, I look at it with the Bucks are just a really good defensive team, and just think that they'll at least slow their offense down, and then kind of, someone like Damian Lillard or Giannis can just kind of put it out of reach.
Yeah.
Maybe in the third, and then I think the Pacers are going to come back, make it close, but I think Milwaukee wins. But it'll be fun. Both teams got a lot of depth and people that are taking big steps after losing a lot of players. So
Absolutely. I think both these two teams are two of the best teams in the East, period. And I think they will both have a name in the regular season and going into the playoffs. But right now, man, like we said, like Giannis is a freak, um, and like literally, and that team is a very defensive, like minded team. They're defense first, and that's what they want to do. And then you look at the Indiana Pacers, and they are a team who can shoot you out the building any night, any day of the week. And if their shots are falling, I think there will be trouble for the Bucks. But if their shots aren't falling, or if the Bucks are playing some pretty tight defense, it can go either way. I definitely think this game will go to the wire and it'll be competitive towards the end. But so looking at the other game in the West this time, you got the Lakers with LeBron, AD, the rest, and then you have the Pelicans with I can't remember his name. Zion with Brandon Ingram, two those stars there. So, who are you expecting to come out of that series?
hmm,
I I honestly expect the Pelicans to win that one.
I
I
do too.
think they have a lot of different weapons. They looked great in their last game against the Suns. I think that not the Suns. Who they
it was
play?
the Kings.
The Kings. Yeah, they look great against the Kings though. Rough start initially, but once they found their footing, they were almost impossible to stop. I think a healthy Zion and a healthy Brandon Ingram and a healthy CJ McCollum.
Mm.
It's just that that is so much scoring that I don't think the Lakers actually have the ability to match.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree. I say Pelicans. I mean, yeah, in that game against the Kings, like, I mean, the Kings are some of the loudest fans that are, you know, maybe care about their team the most. And it's a tough environment to go into. And, like, usually when teams go down, like, 15 at the end of, like, midway through the second, like, it's just kind of game over. Like, they're just going to wipe the floor the rest of the game. Because now they're kind of, free balling it, like, putting up stuff that just seems to go in, have the energy of the crowd. But I think the Pelicans just looked really calm and collected, didn't force anything, and just kind of slowly built it up, built the lead or built the tie, and then just kept it going, and then basically like blew the Kings out at the end of the game. So I think, yeah, having I think consistent scorers like Ingram, Zion, and CJ, like their games are played to where they, pretty much are guaranteed to put up like 15 or more. Um, Whereas like the Lakers have a lot of dudes who are inconsistent, can have
Mm.
really good games, really bad games, and so I kind of trust like the Pelicans a little bit more in that game.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think on the other side you have LeBron and AD, and these are two are the arguably two of the top players in the league, especially when they're playing at the height of their game. And for me, the Pelicans right now they can do something that like not a lot of teams can do, and that's just send so many different bodies to go score. Like y'all said, you got Zion in the paint. You got Brandon Ingram who can shoot it from almost anywhere on the court. You have CJ McCollum, who's one of the most underrated players in my opinion in the league, especially at the point guard position. And like you have all these guys who can definitely go get a bucket. And can the biggest? I think my biggest question is, can the Lakers defense hold up? Can their defense hold off? This team, and can their defense, wake up and play every game like it's the last? And not going to sway away too far from this, but a big question I have is that, like, when the in-season tournament ends in the next couple of weeks, or in the next week, do we think, like, the games will, like, become less competitive now? Like, do you think, like, people, like, won't take them as serious anymore? Like, I think that's a concern that I have about the in-season tournament.
I think that there's going to be a certain amount of that competitiveness that just naturally carries over.
Yeah.
I think, especially because the way they pace this with having it end mid-December,
Yeah.
you're quickly going to be going into that all-star push where players want that honor. That's going to be in February, and then immediately after the all-star break, everybody knows playoff push becomes a very serious thing. So I think that it's not going to be too much of an issue. It really is the pre-all-star break games where you don't see the players try as hard as you know they can.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that even with the in-season tournament ending and, that 500,000, that pride sort of like being put in the background, I still think that we'll see more competition than we have in previous years. And I think you can also just see that in the regular season games we're having right now, where teams that are eliminated are still, they're having real battles.
And I think when you look at the East and the West, like it's just more competitive. Like it's just a more competitive NBA season, and I think because because the in-season tournament kickstarted that, because the in-season tournament was like, okay, let's give these guys a reason to play hard right now at the start of the year. And hopefully, like, that just kickstarts them into the rest of the season. Because, the NBA is a long season. Like, if you're in the finals, you're going till June, July at some times. And so, I mean, can these guys continue to uphold and to do that very well? I hope so. I hope we can watch some really good competitive basketball for the rest of the season. That would be nothing but good for me. But, yeah, just a matter of if that happens or not.
Yeah.
So looking at the NCAA tournament, what is there any changes that you guys would make next season?
I think, well, aside from maybe actually planning out the courts, if they decide they want to do the courts again, I think something that maybe would just be a little more interesting is they had like 6 groups, don't have the groups separated by conference.
Yeah.
Mix the teams in with each other. I get, like, obviously conference rivalries and trying to force division rivalries is good for the league, but it's more fun, like, if you could see the Lakers and the Celtics competing with each other to get into the knockout round.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, and honestly, it's like, you're going to have a spinoff of, like a championship during the season. It's like, why not let the other guys play each other? Why not? Yeah, like you said, why not? Let's get that. That's not bad at all. Just really wish. I think definitely, like, looking at it, the NBA, like, this in-season tournament was like a last-minute thing. It was like, wow, we got this idea this last season. Why not use it? And I feel like they thought about it and they were like, okay, we can use it, but and we're not gonna go anywhere from there. So hopefully next year they take more time to think it all through and produce this. I mean, it was great. I'm not gonna lie. It has been great this season watching some of these playoff games. But yeah. So any final thoughts when it comes to the in-season tournament?
Yeah. Yeah, I think they should just. I like them making the groups based off record. I don't really know what the selection process is, but like I think they select it based on record, and then I don't know, put like teams that might have a little bit more history in the same group, but like still basing it off record. So I kind of like that strategy.
Yeah. Well, I have been your host. Well, first off, thank you guys for listening. Thank you for watching the video. let us know how you feel about the in-season tournament. What should change? What shouldn't change? And yeah, looking forward to seeing it again next season. Hopefully, if they don't mess nothing up. I would say Adam Silver has been, relatively great at his job. He has maybe he should tone down his referees, but other than that, he's been pretty good at his job. But Emmett, Lillian, thank y'all for joining. I have been your host, Davion, and this has been the postgame. Peace.